I'm going to demonstrate how to do Freelance Designer for Chapter 3, and that's the last assignment. So when you first log onto the computer, go to Graphic Arts 1, log into the server. You always want to do that so you don't crash your machine. Then you go to the internet and you want to go to Schoology. This is under Unit 2, Chapter 3, Learning Assignments, and if you scroll down, there's Freelance Designer. For this assignment, you want to download it. I'm going to just view it and go over the directions with you and how you're going to do this. So you've already been doing graphic design since first quarter. So now you're going to think about starting up your own graphic design business from home. Why? Because it's cheap. You can make your own schedules. You can be your own boss. It does require some discipline and attention. So using the reading, I want you to summarize each section and what you need to start your own business. How do you promote yourself? Word of mouth, elevator pitch. What are all those things? And self-discipline. Rates, contract. So after you answer these questions, you're going to use that information and you're going to estimate how long it would take you to design an advertisement. You're going to figure out your time and the profit, and you're going to create an invoice. You're not making the advertisement. I just want you to come up with an invoice and terms of payment. So after you finish that, you're going to answer the questions about high-risk clients and how to create an action plan for non-payment and what are the positives and negatives of accepting or declining high-risk clients. So you're at EIU and you're struggling for some cash and you decide to use the skills you learned at Mattoon High School's graphic arts class to do a freelance design. So you meet up with a couple of local businesses and one of them wants you to redesign an advertisement for the school newspaper. They give you a copy of what they had and ask you to make it better. And they want an estimate of how much it will cost to design it. So you have to figure out how much to charge the client for your design, how much time it's going to take, and then always on an invoice you want to have the terms of payment. So there's two ways you can figure out to design. Typically when you design, you start off creating 3 to 6 thumbnail drawings. From there you narrow the design down to the top design to make a rough draft on the computer. Then you want to show it to your client for suggestions and feedback. Once you get the suggestions and feedback, then you create your comprehensive layout, which is basically what the final design is going to look like. For people that are doing this, it might take 1 to 3 hours if you're new. For more experienced, it might take less than an hour. So you want to be competitive in your pricing and you don't want to undercharge. So there's 2 ways to charge. You can charge an hourly rate, which can vary from $20 to $350 depending on experience level. And this is the ad that he wants you to do. So it's not a big ad. He just wants it to look a little better, different. You can also do a fixed rate, which is a charge for a specific job, such as logo design. Maybe a fixed rate of $300 for you, or it might be for somebody more experienced, might be close to $1,000. So what we're going to do is we're going to create an invoice, and you figure out what you want to charge in Microsoft Word. You'll find a template, open up it, save it in your form as invoice with your initials, and then you're going to put in the information. You need to look up PP&W Properties, what their address is. You've already got their name and their phone number. You got to look up the address on the internet and fill out the information and then put your address in there. Find payment terms that you would like to use. So maybe you say you've got 30 days to pay after you receive the final job, or you may say you have to be half up front and the other half once you get your final piece. Once you finish that, you're going to answer the following questions on this page about high-risk clients. Why would you consider a high-risk client? What would you do if you didn't receive payment for a job? And what are the positive and negative of accepting and declining high-risk clients? When you're finished, upload this file and your invoice to Schoology. So now I'll show you how to do your invoice. You want to open up Microsoft Word. It's the W on the dock. And when you open it up, they have what's on the left-hand side is templates. Click on it, and you're going to go to forms. Let's see, coordinated forms. These have different forms, agendas for meetings, business card forms, tax forms, fax forms, and then there's invoices. You've got a few different invoices you can choose from. So my suggestion, figure out which one you would like to use, and you're going to make it from there. So let's see, I'm just going to do this one, and I choose it. Now, as with any other template, it has information that you need to change. So first thing I want to do is I want to change the name of my organization. There's a problem. There we go. I don't want it to be Mattoon High School. I want it to be my name of my company. Maybe you have a name for it. My company was Artistically. And this is invoice number. If this is your first client, it's going to be number 1. And then you want to put in the date. Date, which was probably 10, we'll say 31/19. Okay, this is your information. So if I enlarge this so you can see. So who's it going to? What's your address? 1234 Wallaby Lane. It's going to be your address. And we'll put down, highlight it. Make sure you don't leave anything in the brackets. Everything should be filled out with information. So we're going to do Mattoon, Illinois 61938. It has to have a full address because they need to know who to send it to. Your phone number 217-238-7785. And then your fax. Well, you don't have a fax, so you can get rid of that. Your email address. So I'm going to put down artistically@gmail.com. Your web address. So if you have one, currently most of you don't have one. Alright. Then your next thing, customer ID. Who is the customer? Okay, invoice number, we already said is 001. Customer ID, PP and W properties. And then who you're going to bill to. It's going to be PP. PP. Oh my goodness. I want capital. And W properties. And then you've got to put their address in. So you've got to look that up online. It is a real address. I did have a student actually do something for it. I know it's in Charleston, Illinois. You got to look up the zip code. And you're shipping it to Eastern Illinois University newspaper. Again, look up the address. Typically shipping nowadays is just emailing it. But you want to make sure you have the address and where you're sending it. Address there where you're sending it. The date. Order number. This is going to be order number 1, my first client. Who's a sales rep? Well, that's going to be me. FOB and ship via. We're going to say email. FOB. We're going to delete that. I can't remember what it's used for, so I just right-clicked on it and delete it. So we're going to email you the terms. Net pay, or I'm going to put down 50. So my terms are you got to pay 50 up front, 50 below. Tax ID number, if they're tax exempt, if they're what's it called? An organization that is a non-profit, they might be tax exempt, so you can put tax ID number. So for this, now we're going to go through the column. I only need one, so I'm going to highlight all the rest of them, right-click on it, and delete the cells. Delete entire rows, yes. Quantity, 1. Item, advertisement, and it's redesign, ad for EIU newspaper. I don't want to give a discount, so I'm going to highlight that and delete it. So right click on it and delete column. Is it taxable? Yes, it is. So you got to figure out what tax it is. So if you are in Mattoon, you got to look up the tax. If you are in another county, you got to look up the tax. I think I'm just going to put this on. I'm sure it's wrong. So it's 6.75, and then you got to figure out your price. So for mine, I might put a base price. I have done ads before, and for me, that ad would probably take me all of about probably 15 minutes to redesign. And I'd probably do 3 designs, so probably we'll say in a half an hour I'd have the designs done, be able to show the client and get approval. But a half an hour might work if I usually charge $50 an hour or $100 an hour, so I might say my price would be $50. And then you have to add on the 6.75% with the calculator. So 50 plus 6.75% would be, the total would be 53.38. So total for the design is 50. Tax is $3.38. Shipping, you can get rid of it. There's no shipping, so I'm going to delete that cell. I'm actually going to delete both those cells, that and miscellaneous, because I have nothing to do with that. And then the total balance due is $53.38. So you want to make sure you get all that numbers in there once you figure out how much you're going to charge for it. Or you could have a base cost. That to me is an easy ad. It was very small. I could probably do that fast. Now the next thing I want to do is I want to put terms of payment in here. So before I go any further, I'm going to go File, Save As. I'm going to call this Invoice, and I'm going to put my initials at it and put it in my folder on the server. So that's, you definitely want to do that before you get started. I'm going under here, and we're just going to save it there. So for a terms of payment, my suggestion, you're going to go to the internet and you're going to type in, I put a quote, let's try, freelance graphic designer terms of payment, unquote. And you'll probably find a whole bunch of different ones that give you suggestions on what you want to put on your contract. Okay? My suggestion, look at them. I don't want to join. So, read through them. Services tend to be fundamental. They get paid $50, $50, whatever. So you want to make sure your payment terms are legal. Hey, see? You can download the terms they use. So you can find them out and make sure that it is what you want it to be. So for mine is, I'm going to put down terms of payment below. And it's a half or 50% due upon due before job. 50% due on job completion. And I might do a couple more spaces. I don't want to walk into that. So then I might go online and find terms that I want to download and copy and paste those in. Maybe I want to say, oh, that's where I'm saying deposit on front. So find out. You also want to put on there late payment charges. So let's say somebody is late. What kind of charges you want to have? If you have charges, net 30 days, they have to pay within 30 days. So 50% on 10, 50% on job completion. So if they don't pay up front, so failure to pay would result in small claims court. All fees would be the responsibility of the client. So you got to make sure you have some legal information in there. Mine's taking a little long to download. but there should be plenty online that you can see what people do and what they should do. See, there's a whole bunch that you can grab. It's just waiting for it to come open up. So you should be able to find terms and conditions of payments for different companies on a contract or an invoice. Find it, put it in there, check your spelling, and in Word you have to go under Tools, Spelling and Grammar, make sure everything's spelled correctly. Yeah, my name is going to be spelled incorrectly. Once you finish, you want to print it off, proofread it, have somebody else proofread it, make sure it sounds good, and then you're going to go File, Save As, and you're going to save it as a PDF. Where's it at? PDF right here, and you're going to upload it to Schoology, and that's it for your assignment.